After hiking for hours at the enormous Yellowstone Park, you look out into the distance and see a large rocky structure. You start hiking towards it so you could snap some amazing pictures. After setting up your camera, you zoom in to see its tall peak. However, you notice something very strange as you do so. Small leaks of magma seem to overflow at the crater. Despite your guide saying it was supposed to be inactive, you ignore it because a little bit of lava seemed safe enough and it made for a good picture. Once you look back through the lens, however, you see a terrifying reality. With large splashes of molten hot magma flying everywhere and pouring down the sides of the volcano, you realize the Yellowstone supervolcano had just erupted. As the supervolcano erupts, anyone visiting the park would quickly perish due to the fast spread of a burning hot gas of ash. Yellowstone and its visitors would not be the only ones annihilated, as the eruption would spread throughout the United States and even the entire world. Massive clouds of heavy, black ash would first stretch all over the United States, and just as citizens would begin to panic, the sun would be totally out of sight. Hospitals would be beyond maximum capacity within hours. And as the black ash ravages people's lungs, they would cough up a lot of blood. From the ash alone, roofs would collapse. Water lines would be contaminated. Power lines would go down, and air travel would be impossible. On top of all of this, climate changes worldwide would spark a volcanic winter that would last for decades. Global temperatures would drop significantly, and what's worse is that America's rich farmland would be heavily contaminated for an entire generation. The world relies on this food supply, and now that it's gone, countries and all continents would starve. No place on Earth would be spared by a supervolcano, and in the United States alone, the cost of damages would be over $3 trillion. The eruption of a supervolcano would, without a doubt, be a natural disaster of unfathomable scales that would change the lives of everybody for decades. In most natural disasters like tsunamis, hurricanes, and earthquakes, the incident would be isolated. Only certain regions would be hit, and with the damage inflicted to no more than a country or a state, other nations would be able to provide aid to help recover what was lost and to get things back to normal. With a worldwide volcanic event like this, however, every state in the US would be dealing with its own wealth of problems, and with every single place on Earth being affected, nobody would be able to help. Wars over resources may emerge, and if the supervolcano was large enough, humanity would forever go extinct. Stay rest assured, though, as we do have many things in place to prevent such a disastrous event. Supervolcanoes are monitored closely for any signs of eruption. If a supervolcano was going to erupt in the future, our technology would warn us early, and we would have over a year to prepare. Countries all over the world would begin preparing for the disaster by taking steps to protect housing and farm crops. And in the event of an apocalyptic outcome, they would construct isolated bunkers with lots of preservable foods to survive through the volcanic winter. Luckily, we do not have to worry about any supervolcanoes erupting in our lifetime. The Yellowstone volcano has erupted very rarely in the past, having gone off only 3 times in the last 2.1 million years, with the most recent eruption being 650,000 years ago. Still, it is crazy to realize that a single volcano has the power to wipe out the entirety of humanity, even with our current technology. With the endless potential of the Earth, however, supervolcanoes are just one among many things that evoke infinite wonder. We hope you enjoyed our look into what could happen if a supervolcano were to erupt. When do you think the Yellowstone supervolcano will erupt? Share your thoughts, suggestions, and questions in the comments below. Interesting new content like this is uploaded every week, so be sure to like and subscribe to see more of Infinite Wonder.